Good morning, boys and girls. I thought I would bring with me for the children's message today something that I grew up with. It is a football. This football I used in playing football with friends and neighbors in the neighborhood that I grew up with. It didn't matter whether it was fall, summer, or spring, and yes, even winter, I played football. Sad to say, the football that I grew up with, that I really grown slowly but surely wore. And eventually it could no longer hold the air, which meant that I could no longer use it to play football with my children as they grew up, and I definitely can't with my grandchildren as well. Well, that's not the only thing that wore out for me. Well, I have a pair of gym shoes that my wife Sylvia was trying to get me to replace. I don't know why. I grew comfortable with those tennis shoes. They may have had holes in them. The sole may have flip-flopped when I wore them. But boy, they were a comfortable fit. But eventually, I wore out. And so when we were up in Minnesota visiting our grandchildren, because Minnesota has no sales tax, I bought myself a new pair of shoes, and my wife was real happy. You know, everything in life, everything that we have, eventually wears out, eventually will disappear. That is why in our Old Testament lesson for today, King Solomon wants to remind us that our happiness cannot be found in things that we have, but our happiness ultimately will always be found in Jesus. Because Jesus took away our sins. He rose from the grave, He ascended into heaven, and someday we will see Him face to face. So in the meantime, we can enjoy these gifts that God has given to us, like a football or a new pair of shoes or a new pair of socks or whatever. Because even though they may eventually wear out, we know that we have Jesus. And if we have Jesus and His forgiveness, and where there is forgiveness, there is salvation and life, we can be happy.